When the mind becomes aware that it too, much like the leaf, has roots, how much easier is it to accept the things that come and go? Because the wind does not affect the roots. The storm does not affect the roots. Winter does not affect the roots. And we have a similar root inside of ourselves that leads to a naturally accepting state of being. I believe one of the first questions was essentially how do we accept, or why can't we accept? I think you messaged me that. Why is it so difficult to accept? It's so difficult to accept because the mind only ever begrudgingly accepts, and we live in the mind. The mind accepts something halfway when it feels defeated and it has no choice. But that acceptance, it's not an acceptance that frees you or that gives you peace, because real acceptance comes more from the heart. Real acceptance has nothing to do with the mind if you actually look at it. The mind may play ping pong back and forth with itself, talking about this, she did this, well, this is what happened, back and forth all day long. You can see that and watch the pattern and observe that, and through observing that this is endless, this game is endless, then the heart can have acceptance. But the mind itself doesn't come to a form of acceptance without the heart leading the way. The mind is much like a leaf on a tree. And the leaf naturally, when it doesn't know its roots, it doesn't know anything else but itself, but a leaf, it's going to have a tough time with the wind. Because it's very little, it's very fragile, and it could fall at any moment. It's going to have a tough time with winter. It's going to have a tough time with all the animals that come and go by it. It's going to have a tough time with everything that happens on the surface of life, because it doesn't have a deeper sense of identity, and it's very fragile, very small, very much in a victim mode at all the elements that could go wrong and that will go wrong. The mind is like that leaf. So the mind has a tough time accepting when the wind is blowing really hard, when it's really stormy outside. It has a tough time accepting when a bad season comes our way, when somebody leaves us, when something that was very precious to us is no longer there. But when the mind becomes aware that it too, much like the leaf, has roots, how much easier is it to accept the things that come and go? Because the wind does not affect the roots. The storm does not affect the roots. Winter does not affect the roots. And we have a similar root inside of ourselves that leads to a naturally accepting state of being. Because the roots are already in acceptance of the rain. They don't need to do anything. The roots are already in acceptance of the storm, of the wind. They don't need to do anything to accept. There's no effort needed. The leaf, when it is solely identified as the leaf, has to work to accept. It has to work really hard, and it never fully gets there. Only when its back is really against the wall does it have a chance of getting there. But for the root, there's really no such thing as acceptance. It is naturally all accepting. The deepest part of us, that spacious stillness that we went to in meditation, is naturally all accepting.